Good morning, everyone. I think we should get started on the 10th meeting of the Civic Works Committee. Please check the city website for additional meeting detail information. Meetings can be viewed via live streaming on YouTube and the city website. The City of London is situated on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, the Lupaneewak, and the Adawandran. We honor and respect the history, languages, and culture of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. The City of London is currently home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit today. As representatives of the people of the City of London, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and live in this territory. The City of London is committed to making every effort to provide alternate formats and communication supports for meetings. Upon request, to make a request specific to this meeting, please contact cwc@london.ca or 519-661-2489, extension 2425. So moving on to number 1, disclosures of pecuniary interest. Anyone? I see none. We'll move on to the consent items. There are 9 consent items. Looking for a motion, maybe to start the conversation. To put the consent items on the floor. I would like, yes, Councillor Frank, moving the motion, and looking for a seconder in Councillor Pribble. And with that, I would like to bring the committee members the attention for committee members on the 6th report of the Integrated Transportation Community Advisory Committee. There is a request from the advisory group to reach out to the London Transit Commission. If it is supported, the process is that this will go to council for final approval, and then a resolution will be made and sent to LTC to request to respond back to the advisory group. So with that, moving on to any questions of the report? See none. So moving on to 2.2, the Hyde Park Pumping Station single source pump purchase. Any questions? With that one, see none. A lot of growth going on in that area and the importance of getting water there. 2.3 is the Mud Creek Phase 2B construction contract and consultant supervision award and project budget increases. Any questions? See none. Councillor Ferreira.
Thank you, Chair. So I was reading through this report. I do like to see kind of like while we're here, we might as well do the work that we're proposing here, just so we don't, I guess, disrupt the area again. So I did want to make a comment to staff saying I appreciate that. That's a good call. And I can see some of the areas. I'm assuming we just don't have the plans yet because we still are putting this out for, I guess, some third parties to give us some information. I'm looking at the trunk sanitary sewer capacity for infill growth. I was wondering if maybe I get some extra comments on that from staff. Because I do have a note here saying, I'm wondering if we're still going out to get that information from the third party.
Thank you. Through the chair. So I'm not clear on which information through third party.
It's, I was just going through this. I'm looking at the trunk sanitary sewer capacity for infill growth, and I do see that we're looking to add a trunk sanitary sewer. I think it was on the west side of the channel remediation, and I just wanted to know, I was wondering if we had any kind of like a plan, like a design looking from above like we do for the Mud Creek location and phasing map of where that would be located.
Thank you, through the chair. So We are installing it on the west side of the creek, so it is not shown on the location map, but I'm more than happy to show you where it is. So it basically will run parallel to the existing trunk sewer and connecting at the downstream end. So it will be there to accommodate additional future growth in the area. And in the meantime, it also provides additional storage because it will be connected to that trunk sewer. So it provides additional storage for wet weather flows and reduces overflows.
Councillor?
No, thank you. It was well described in the report. I was just asking to see if we could have like a visual of it, but no, that's fully understandable. So thank you.
Councillor Prebble.
Thank you, through the chair, to the staff. Now when the question was asked about the capacity, how do we work together with planning? Because of course this area, there are huge, or the infills projection is really high. So how do we work together with planning to determine really the sufficiency of the diameter of the sewer trunks?
Ms. Ramello?
Thank you, through the chair. So you're right, we do work closely with planning to determine the sizes and to try and project future growth in the areas and so on. So we do have the base population densities that are allowed for in the London plan. And then we also look at what we're actually seeing on applications and what we expect if we're seeing higher densities. So we would apply those to the, they're called design sheets, and they apply a flow per capita. And so that flow, that anticipated flow, is what drives the design.
Thank you, and follow up. And I'm quite sure the ones with the vicinity, those new projects, that they would be included. But how about the two, for example, the ones that we just did on Wonderland behind Nash Jewelers, and then also the one behind Costco? Would they be using the same trunk, or there would be additional one going down to Wonderland?
Thank you. Through the chair, yes, those flows do go through the same trunk. So that is part of the work that we're doing here to upsize that to continue to accommodate more growth in that area.
And based on all this, what I just heard, we feel very confident that this proposal is sufficient and it's going to lead us through all this entire infill in this area, correct?
Thank you. Yes, through the chair, this is not an area we want to go back into, given that we're doing a lot of work to create a nice naturalized amenity space. So we definitely don't want to go in again. So we are definitely sizing this so that we are future-proofing this sewer for what would come in.
Great. Thank you very much. No more questions to this point.
Thank you, Councillor Prebble. I see no further questions, and I'd like to move on to 2.4, which is the appointment of consulting engineers for infrastructure renewal program. This is round 2. I want to see if I can just go to staff just for a short introduction. This is pretty exciting stuff happening here.
Thank you, through the chair. Yes, these are 2 engineering consulting assignments that we're very excited to get going. First mentioned here is the 2nd Street sanitary sewer. So this is the design using Housing Accelerator Fund money that directly supports multiple high-density developments in the area of Oxford and 2nd Street that we previously had holding provisions on. So doing this work allows a number of developments to move forward in an area where we really need that housing. Secondly, the downtown core area sanitary infrastructure assessment study. So we have studies in the past that looked at the downtown sanitary capacity, but a lot has changed since then. So we've done a number of projects to separate and combine sewers and increase sewer capacity in conjunction with the rapid transit projects. As well, we have the ongoing trunk sewer upsizing on Cavendish in the park north of the river going on right now, and we're planning for the Labatt siphon increase next year. So we are doing, this year and next year, over $40 million of work in the core to address sanitary capacity in the downtown. Because as we have seen, there's a lot of interest in developing that high-density residential in the downtown, both from the towers that we've already seen go up and the applications that we continue to see come in. So we want to make sure that we're able to support those with sanitary servicing. So in addition, so this updated study will look at all the projects that have been completed since the past one, look at how we allocate these in a planful way so that we're ensuring that good developments can move forward in a timely manner. and also identify if there's other projects that we should be doing to ensure that we don't have bottlenecks in our system. So this will be really important work for ensuring that sanitary capacity can be allocated to those developments as they're coming online in the downtown.
Thank you for that. I will go down to the downtown councillor, Councillor Ferrer.
Thank you, Chair. So obviously, I'm happy to see this one, the downtown sanitary infrastructure. That's obviously a conversation that I've had with you that's been ongoing, and this is critical to the development. So I really like how you're tying it in with the future developments that we're going to have and just trying to increase the capacity like that. This would be the make it or break it if we are going to be able to actually do the initiatives we want to do downtown. So very happy to see that and looking forward to seeing more information in the future on this one, because I know I might have been asking a little bit too much sometimes, so I appreciate that.
Councillor Pribble.
Thank you, and through the chair to the staff, incredibly happy to see this and at these locations, because as you said, great developments, great infills, so really happy to see that. One question in terms of the 2nd Street, and if I look at the Oxford and Highbury, the southeast corner, which used to be the lands for the soccer fields as well as the London Psychiatric Hospital. Those lands, I don't imagine that they will go all the way to 2nd. I would imagine there is something to the Highbury and that area. Do we have it covered for this infill, or are there any plans to increase the sanitary trunks and services?
Thank you. Through the chair, yes, so you are correct that those flows go over to the sanitary, or Highbury side rather, and the capacity improvements to accommodate that infill development is all included within the rapid transit project as well.
And that, because I don't know that is coordinated with the developer and with planning, that with our bus transit, BRT, that it's coordinating time-wise, and we are not going to slow development down?
Coordination, Ms. Dan.
Yes, and through the chair, through the design of the East London Link project, which is currently under construction, we coordinated with planning and with the developer to ensure that all of our infrastructure underground is being upsized to accommodate that. We're able to come up with some really great synergies so that the project can go forward in our timeline and also align with theirs.
Councillor?
Perfect. Thank you very much. No more questions to this point.
Thank you. I see no further questions. Just a quick comment here from the chair. Really pleased to see this coming forward, this study, and in particular downtown, as we support the development of downtown. I do have a question, though, around the findings of the study. Is that reported back to CWC, or is it just more or less left within the different divisions to be shared? Not sure.
Thank you. Through the chair, we do expect that there will be some policy recommendations out of the study that would be coming back either to Civic Works or to Planning Committee. This is also going to be informing the land needs study, the potential for a downtown GMIS, if you will, as well as potentially informing other projects that would then come through the normal design and construction award process. So yes, you likely will see some of the results of this, and we're always, as staff, happy to answer questions offline too about the process.
Thank you. Good news. Thank you to staff for the work on this, the much needed work as we change the way we develop downtown and move forward. Moving on to 2.5 then is the Greenway Flood Protection Tender Award. Any questions from committee on that? Councillor Prip.
Thank you, and through the chair to the staff, very happy to see that we are using 40% of the money of the higher level government. So thank you for that. But I do have a question in terms of the timing. That what was and I don't know if it was included in the report, but I didn't see it. Bottom line is it was 143 weeks as compared to 80 weeks, which is 63 additional weeks, which is kind of increased, I don't know, roughly 85%. What was the reasoning behind it? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Through the chair. So that 80 weeks was used before we had even started design as a basis for the consultants to be able to provide a consistent price so that they were all using the same number when they submitted their price for the design and construction administration of the project. We wouldn't know the actual number of working days required until we got further along into the design, looked at the construction methods and so on. So that 80 was really just a baseline to ensure consistent bidding across the consultants without knowing how we would actually be constructing it.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any other questions from committee members on the Greenway Flood Protection Tender Award? Do not see any. I do have a quick question from the chair, just around the work that obviously is needed here, but also the closure that is going to happen on the TVP. And appreciate it's going to be done in the winter months, but representing the West End, that TVP is an important link to our downtown, and just would like to have a better understanding of how we promote the send out notices to the public on the closure.
Thank you. Through the chair, yes, we recognize that this would be disruptive to those who use the TVP, especially those who use it to commute. So we have had signs on it and had quite a bit of attention on this since several months ago. So we have been communicating that way with the QR code that people who are using the TVP regularly are aware. We are happy to say that at first we were predicting that this could be a 6-month closure, and we're down to about 2. We will continue to have signage out there for those users and on all our social media, on the Get Involved page and so on. Also in that we do have incentive, disincentive clauses in the contract to encourage the contractor getting that connection open faster.
Thank you for that information. Moving on now to 2.6, which is the Byron Bridge Rehab, Detailed Design, Construction, Administration, Appointment of Consultant Engineer. Any questions, comments from the committee? See none. The committee will allow me just to pass on my thanks to staff for taking a look at this bridge and doing the rehabilitation and making it a safer bridge as we have very few entrances into the west end of the city, and this is an important link. So good to see this going forward. Moving on to 2.8, which is 2.7, sorry, funding to support the continuation of the UTRCA monitoring program for the Dingman Creek subwatershed. Any questions from committee? See none. Good to see this going forward. It is an important tributary in our city, and a lot of work to be done when it comes to mapping. Moving on to 2.8 is the temporary recycling residual disposal fee adjustment for existing customers at W12A landfill. I would like to just go to staff for a quick introduction on this recommendation. Mr. Stanford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the committee's benefit, the notion of a separate recycling residual disposal fee has been something that the city has had for many, many decades. And essentially, it is an incentive for the recycling industry to continue to process more materials. But of course, as they process materials, they do create a residual product. So it is essentially offering locally a lower disposal fee. So the gap right now between the regular disposal fee of $46 and the existing recycling residual disposal fee, of course, is $6. What has occurred at our landfill site, because we're entering the last portion, essentially the last year of the existing approved landfill site, we've run into really a space constraint. We're not able to accept very large transfer trailers. These are the ones that you would see out on the highway that are extremely long. We do receive these at the landfill site right now from 2 companies that use the very large vehicles to basically save on transportation costs, reduce fuel use. Unfortunately, for about a year, we're not going to be able to receive vehicles of that size because there's just no location at the landfill site to turn them around. What's going to occur for the industry, and it's really 2 main businesses that have 95% of the business, they're going to see an increase in their costs for that period of time because they have to move to smaller vehicles and costs go up with that. So what we're suggesting in this report is a temporary fee to assist not only the two businesses locally, but of course the businesses in London that use their services. So in this case here, we're suggesting a reduction in the fee from $40 per ton down to $30 for 2024 and likely into 2025. The fee in 2025 would be part of our fees and charges bylaw, which you'll see later this year, but it'll be really the same discussion that would occur there. This is just an opportunity to support local businesses, but at the same time, from a city perspective, because we just completed the multi-year budget, we have counted on the revenue coming in from this particular material stream. So we will see during this period of time a small reduction, about $230,000 in 2024, which could easily be made up by other revenue streams at W12A, because some of our fee streams are tracking higher after 5 months. So this is something that we, of course, report out at mid-year through SPPC as part of the monitoring, budget monitoring. So before you basically is the temporary fee really to do a couple things to finalize comments, help local industry, protect our revenue stream because it is important, and the same time as we develop our future cells, which of course, as you know, we have approval to do so, that's going through the final phases of approvals of the Environmental Protection Act. This allows us to basically continue to serve our local businesses.
Thank you, Mr. Stanford, for that extra information on the recommendation that we have for various fees and charges to our landfill. And I really appreciate the update. I found the information important, but I also appreciate the monitoring that's going to go forward through our budget process to make sure that we can come up with that balancing of the fees and charges. So any questions from committee? Councillor Pribble?
Thank you, through the chair, to the staff. I'm quite sure we are not the only municipality that's kind of in this situation, or I would imagine other ones are as well. Did we do the comparison if there are other municipalities, and in terms of the fees and potential reduction, did we do comparison with other municipalities in terms of this project, or are we the only one who are experiencing this? Thank you.
Mr. Stanford?
Through the chair, other municipalities really have different fee structures to serve their particular industry. What we do consider, though, is what the private sector landfill sites in southwestern Ontario and Michigan, what they would be charging. And essentially, as we look at those kinds of fees, we do our best to remain competitive. At the same time, we do like that revenue stream. So this fee reduction is really designed to make sure that the local industry is not really having a cost increase that they would have to pass on to their customers.
Councillor?
Great, and like just last follow-up, even though I'm quite sure you answered it, we do comparative analysis with others when we do such projects, and we consider that as well, the comparative analysis.
Through the chair, yes, on a regular basis, we're looking at our tipping fees to make sure they remain competitive, and that's the opportunity of any changes to the fees and charges bylaw on an annual basis. That right now they're locked in for the next 4 years, but if something changes, we would bring that to committee and council's attention.
Thank you. No more questions. Thank you.
Councillor Ferreira?
Thank you, Chair. Just mind my lack of knowledge here. So I'm just gonna, I want to know my experience with being at the landfill, the W12A landfill is, I drive up, I go on the scale. I have materials that I want to throw. This is not to do with that. This is the recycling process for residuals. I just wanted to know the difference between like a personal individual who's coming in, goes on the scale, drives around, goes to the bins and throws things into the bins. This is not for that. This is for something else.
Mr. Stanford?
Through the chair, that is correct. This is, there's two very large companies in London, Tri-Recycling and Green Valley, that handle the majority of what's referred to as construction, renovation, and demolition waste. They take that and put that through different processing operations to extract materials of value. This would become the residual product that has no value. We provide just a local tipping fee that is supportive of that particular industry. So this does not impact residents. Those fees remain unchanged. In fact, it really only impacts two customers for the most part, because the others basically will continue at the same rate because they bring in very small volumes.
Councillor?
Thank you for that. That was the piece that I needed to really kind of visualize it in my head. So thank you for that answer. That leaves, I have no questions after that.
Thank you for your questions. Moving on now to the last consent item, which is 2.9, the contract price increase for Dundas Street TVP active transportation. Any questions from committee? I see no further questions on our consent items, and we do have a motion that has been moved and seconded, and we can proceed to vote.
Closing the vote, the motion carries 4-0.
Moving on to scheduled items, there are none. Items for direction, there are none. Deferred matters, additional business, any? I see none. And I am looking for adjournment. Councillor Fribble, and seconded by Councillor Frank. And hand vote, don't leave yet, hand vote? Carried. And that is carried. Have a great day, everyone.